mics today. Okay. It's a hot mic. Okay. Happy New Year and welcome. Thank you for joining us this morning in the opening of the 2022-23 academic year festivities. I'm Lara Lutkehans, IUP Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, and your MC this morning. It's so good to see all of you in Fisher Hall. And also, I want to welcome those that are joining us via stream. I also want to welcome, with a special shout out to community members, retirees, alumni, members of the IUP Council of Trustees, and State System Board of Governors, as well as board members and colleagues from the IUP Foundation, the IUP Research Institute, and the IUP Co-op. Thank you all for your participation in these opening of the academic year events and for your ongoing support and partnership with IUP. Now, I'm pleased to introduce my colleagues on stage. President of IUP, Michael Driscoll. President of IUP APSCUF, Dennis Furkatich. President of SCUPA, Aaron Fritz Wood. President of SGA and member of the PASHE Board of Governors, Abigail Hancox, and Chair of our University Senate, David Piper. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us this morning as we launch this academic year. As we know, the seasonal nature of working in education brings a new start each fall. You can feel it coming with the weather changing, the town getting busier, and the freshening of campus. How about those new Adirondack chairs in the Oak Grove? And summer, it's the time for reflection and planning. This summer, many units were hosting retreats and strategic planning sessions with the help of our University Planning Council, working on bringing our strategic plan to implementation. One of these retreats, hosted by President Driscoll and University Advancement, was to work on aligning our university strategic priorities with our next campaign priorities. At the retreat, our retired colleague, Dr. Charles Cashdollar, shared some insights from his work, The IUP Story, From Normal School to University, that could be useful in shaping how we are imagining our future. A theme that he brought forward for our consideration is that of reinvention. From Indiana State Normal School to Indiana State Teachers College to Indiana State College, and now Indiana University of Pennsylvania. IUP has reinvented itself outwardly at least 4 times, and if you read the book, you'll note many more times in response to enrollment changes, financial challenges, curricular challenges and reforms, as well as world wars, the Great Depression, and political and social movements. As I consider where we are in 2022, I believe we're at one of those points of reinvention in our history. How fortunate are we to be at IUP at this time and to have this opportunity in front of us to set a new course for our institution, to reinvent IUP for our future students, for our region, and for the Commonwealth. Yes, it's a weighty responsibility. We're not here during a time of maintenance, allowing our role to be custodial. Instead, we're being called to be inventors. IUP's history begins with an ambitious community committed to creating a high-quality normal school that was affordable, and that design persists today. Among our early leaders, Jane Leonard, or Aunt Jane, the soul of the school, was driven by her devotion to her students. Her successor, Hope Stewart, described the way Aunt Jane looked at the world as the best was yet to be. As Aunt Jane bid farewell to graduates of Indiana State Normal School, she would offer the following charge: go forth, be true, be brave, be successful. Together, we can continue to carry forward Aunt Jane's charge. I know we can because of the ways we're already doing it, and because I too believe that the best is yet to be. A charge to go forth. We're an institution that's evolving and adapting. Almost every facet of our organization was involved in operationalizing a new and leaner organizational structure that also affords new synergies and opportunities for our future. I have to commend our academic leadership, our deans in particular, and I'm going to call each of you out: Dean Scheib, Dean Geico, Dean Creeley, Dean Rigg, Dean Bairdwaj, and Dean Hoven. The deans are making the restructuring work. Thank you for working so hard this past year to welcome new units and colleagues into each of the colleges and for troubleshooting operations. But more importantly, for embracing our new structure to begin to uncover what's possible as we reinvent IUP for the future. Yes, the next-gen restructuring was difficult. It's one of those times in our history that we'll remember the before and after of for some time. But it's behind us now, and we will go forth. A charge to be true. Truth can be found in collecting and using data for assessing our outcomes. Over the coming year, we will be engaged in self-study as we prepare for our Middle States reaffirmation. A self-study is only meaningful if we're honest with ourselves, using our data to uncover and own where we are falling short so we can make improvements to serve our students better. Being true also means being true to each other through trust and collaboration. In order to serve our 9,000 students with exceptional student-centeredness, we have to break down our division, department, and program silos. We need to streamline our curricula to allow our students to better navigate our programs and to ensure that we have financially sustainable academic programming. Like our colleagues in English and speech-language pathology did this year, they worked to make curricular adjustments that draw on courses from other disciplines to meet students' needs. This was achieved through trust and collaboration. As we embark on re-envisioning liberal studies this year under the leadership of our new director, Dawn Smith-Sherwood, we will need to trust to be true to one another. A charge to be brave. Reinvention requires courage. We have big ideas for IUP's future as we embrace the real impact we can have in the health and well-being of our students and more broadly our region. Building on a strong foundation in the STEAM disciplines, laboratory sciences, nursing and allied health areas, and mental and behavioral health, we will respond to society's needs for more health professionals through growing programs in these areas. Our strategic plan calls for us to transform the IUP student experience. To do that, we are making bold commitments to our students, all of our students. Our Career and Professional Development Center is gearing up to ensure that all of our students will have a career path using a life design construct. We are collaborating across divisions, student affairs and academic affairs, to integrate leadership development opportunities into our students' experiences so that they can develop in their agency, confidence, and self-efficacy. We are committing to our students that each will have multiple in-class and out-of-class experiential learning opportunities to anchor and transfer the knowledge and skills they gain in their academic programs. Each of these strategic priorities pushes us to be brave in the commitments we make to our students and encourages our students to be brave in designing their futures. A charge to be successful. Our institution's success is built on the success of our people. In addition to the commitments we are making to our students, we are committed to investing in your success. This begins with improving our work processes, bringing consistency to like roles and responsibilities, offering training and academies, and standing up tools and technologies to support our work. We will also be adding strategically tenure-track faculty positions in critical need and high-growth areas this year. So as we open the 2022-23 academic year and continue our work toward the next reinvention of IUP, I ask you to accept Aunt Jane's charge. Let's go forth, be true, be brave, be successful. Thank you. And now it is my honor to introduce our IUP president, Michael Driscoll.
Thank you, thank you. Good morning. Thank you, Provost Lutke Hans. Well, welcome to a new year at IUP. I hope you have had an enjoyable summer and that you are ready to begin this new semester. I am excited to see all of you. This will be the first time in 3 years, really, that we are beginning the school year without some form of COVID restrictions or a large number of employees working remotely. We are now back in an environment that looks and feels familiar, and I am thankful for that. It's great to see you. Right up front, and before you hear from some other IUP leaders, and before Dr. Piper engages in whatever shenanigans he has planned, I want to tell you my wish for today. My wish is that when you leave here, you feel inspired. You feel confident and prepared. You feel hopeful and you feel proud. The work we do here, the work you do here is important. And how we go about it sets the tone for our entire university community. It's in the service to others that we will arrive at a future where IUP leads the pack. We must use student-centeredness as our North Star and let it guide us in all we do. And I hope that you feel inspired to do this. I want to share some business updates that are relevant to our work. Early last month, the Pennsylvania legislature and Governor Wolf approved the state budget for the fiscal year. It includes a dramatic increase in funding for the state system of $75 million above last year. Specifically, the ongoing base appropriations for the state system increased from $477.5 million to $552.5 million. That 15.7% increase sets the base for future annual appropriations. But wait, there's more. The state system also received $125 million of one-time funds from the Commonwealth's COVID relief funding. On July 22nd, the Board of Governors finalized the allocation of funds to the universities. Our share of the base is about $56.9 million, and that's almost $8 million more than we had projected under the new appropriation allocation formula. IUP also received about $12.3 million from the one-time funding. Before this year's historic investment, Pennsylvania's support for public higher education was one of the lowest in the country. While there is still plenty of room to grow, it's really, really nice to be out of the basement. The investment came with broad, bipartisan support, a strong vote of confidence in universities like IUP. It is also a recognition of the hard and sometimes painful work we have all done to reduce costs and increase affordability for our students. Thanks are due to a broad group of advocates, including the Board of Governors, the Councils of Trustees, Chancellor Greenstein, university leadership, union leadership, and all of you. I am thankful, in particular, for the strong support from our state legislative delegation, including Senator Joe Pittman and Representatives Jim Struzzi and Brian Smith. This funding doesn't erase our financial challenges, but it sure helps. It also gives us a bit more time to be creative in addressing them. We are and will be working with the Council of Trustees and the University Budget Advisory Committee to find the best use for the resources. 2 years ago, I sounded the alarm and said that we must fundamentally change our financial operations because draining our reserves to cover our expenses would leave IUP insolvent, meaning we would be unable to pay our bills within 4 years. Thanks to Vice President Deborah Fitzsimmons, her staff, and so many of you who have put your oar in the water and helped us row together, We are now more than 2/3 of the way to getting on better footing. Right now, the team is working on the numbers we need for our annual comprehensive planning process report. And once our fall enrollment is nailed down, we'll have more details to discuss. I'm happy to tell you that I am committed to no more retrenchments or furloughs this year. While we may not refill every position that becomes vacant through attrition, we will continue to provide opportunities for professional development and will invest by filling a few key positions. These decisions will be made prudently. While reining in spending is part of balancing the budget, the corresponding action is to increase revenue. In today's economy, raising the cost of attendance would be understandable, but not student-centered. Yet many of our competitors have done it. Instead, we have lowered tuition by almost 20% for in-state undergraduate students while continuing to freeze room and board costs and basic fees. Starting this semester, the total cost of attendance for in-state undergraduate students living on campus is only about $100 more than it was in 2016. We face a declining state population, especially in younger age groups, increased competition for students, and a society where some people have lost faith in the value of a college degree. That means recruiting students is more challenging than ever. But the focus of our recruiting work needs to be on offering relevant and challenging educational experiences for all our students, funding more scholarships, and marketing our great university to diverse populations, showing what they can gain by coming to IUP. We are projecting our fall enrollment to come in somewhere between 8,800 and 8,900 students, which is a slight drop from last year, but don't be dismayed. Our incoming freshman class is larger than last year's, and the number of students registered full-time has gone up, as has the persistence rate of upper division students. It's good stuff. We must help more students stay and finish. Our first to second year retention rate is around 70%, which means that roughly 30% of our first year students don't come back. 30%. The list of reasons we lose 30% of our first-year students is a long one, from mental health issues and financial strains to academic struggles and feeling homesick. This is challenging work that requires thinking and acting holistically to best serve our students' needs. Our retention rate is not one person's fault. You are all working as hard as you can to help our students be successful, and your work matters. But no one person can help every student overcome every challenge they face. Rather, we need to transform how we support all of our students, cutting across division and unit boundaries and getting the right expertise in the right places for the biggest impact. That's why IUP's strategic plan talks about being a student-centered university and not about being a university filled with student-centered individuals. That's why at the end of last academic year, we wrapped up the work of many student success task forces and committees. Each was doing great and sometimes overlapping and really exhausting work, but we were missing the impact we all seek. That's why I asked the University Planning Council to create a streamlined committee structure, building on and implementing suggestions from NextGen, the Strategic Enrollment Plan, and your other great work, so that we could accelerate our progress on student-centeredness and success. Well, after a lot of thoughtful consideration, the UPC told me that I wasn't thinking big enough, and they gave me a great proposal. The proposal goes to the heart of transforming us into a student-centered university, the kind we must become, without expecting each of us to solve every problem for every student, undergraduate and graduate, resident, commuter, on and on. We cannot spread ourselves thin trying to solve all the problems only to end up exhausted with little accomplished. We must find ways we all can help the cause of student-centeredness by excelling in the areas in which we are best suited. Think about baseball. The Pirates won last night, so I can say that. That was an ad lib, sorry. Not everyone can be the pitcher, but everyone can play a role in keeping the other team from scoring. Not everyone can hit home runs, but when we get our turn at bat, we all can find ways to get on base. It's a matter of everyone doing what we can to help the team, putting the team's success front and center. The UPC has proposed a transformed and amped up Student Success Center that does that for our students. In concept, the center would be staffed with new or reassigned personnel who have expertise in student success. It would have two proactive components, academic and advocacy. The academic part would guide students toward resources using the rest of us as early warning sources. For example, if a student gets a poor grade on their first paper, their professor could alert the Student Success Center, which would connect the student to the Writing Center for assistance. A Student Success Center model like this helps keep students from falling behind. The advocacy portion would have a concierge approach. Personnel would be a single point of contact for students and families and would follow up with students to ensure they have received the help they need and then stay with them as they progress. This is an excellent way to use our time, talent, and resources to benefit our students, and that's why we're here. In the IUP libraries, many of the spaces have been restructured to better meet the needs of our students. And some student-facing offices, including the Writing Center and the Career and Professional Development Center, have been moved into the library, letting our students find help in one spot. The University College, already living in the library, has broadened its work to help all students, not just the ones who are exploring their academic options. There is great synergy between library leadership and administration, faculty, and staff. Instead of fighting against change, they asked, how can we help? We must all rise to the challenge to meet all of our students' needs. And the new Student Success Center, the restructuring of the library, and the broadened mission of the University College show the way. I freely admit that despite all the reading and research I've been doing about student-centered universities, I don't know how to design the perfect one. Neither does the UPC. We need all of you to help. I will soon be appointing one university-wide task force to design a world-class Student Success Center for IUP. That group will work with all of you to create a plan by the end of fall semester, allowing implementation to start in the spring. If you are interested in serving, please let Scott Moore, Paula Stossel, or me know. We need everyone's input. Please know that a lot of great student-centered work is already happening. I want to briefly mention just two examples. Last weekend, first-year students started moving into our residence halls. With help from many of you, about 1,500 students and their families had a great experience. The Office of Housing and Residence Life changed the check-in process for students who live on campus. The students arrived at the KCAC to find staff from housing, along with representatives from dining, health service, student billing, financial aid, the University College, the Office of Alumni Affairs, the Indiana County Tourist Bureau, helpful volunteers, and more ready to help them. Questions were answered without having to run all over campus and before the stressful work of parking and unloading the car or the U-Haul or whatever they brought with them. The Department of Public Safety, ROTC, and our facilities and custodial staff made that last part easier too. We are working so that students feel like IUP is home. We took a walking tour with some of our students and learned that many minority groups, when they looked at the campus, felt unrepresented. We've acted on this. We want students from all walks of life to know they are welcome at IUP and their needs will be cared for. Outside the front doors of Jane Leonard Hall, you can see the newly painted rainbow sidewalk. Outside the Center for Multicultural Student Leadership and Engagement, you can see the pride flag flying above. We have updated signage across campus to make all gender restrooms easier to find. We renovated the main lobby in Clark Hall so that students find it more welcoming and friendlier with new artwork and better informational displays. We will continue working with all of you to make sure all students find a home at IUP. We're beginning our 147th academic year since we first opened our doors in 1875. As we approach our sesquicentennial in 2025, our Division of University Advancement is planning the next comprehensive campaign, using that anniversary as the inspiration. The last campaign ended with a record-breaking $81+ million in gifts from our alumni and friends. And while it may seem counterintuitive to begin another campaign, recent activity tells us it will be a continuation of the momentum we have going. Since the Imagine Unlimited campaign closed, IUP has continued to receive gifts that leave us in awe. In the fiscal year that just ended, we were gifted roughly $19 million by friends and family who believe in the work that we do and want to be a part of it. We also received $2.75 million from the state and federal governments to support the new culinary arts facility in Punxsutawney. University advancement and academic fairs have also been at the forefront of expanding our relations with the local community, and one of those bridges we've built is particularly exciting because of the far-reaching effects it could have. IUP and Indiana Regional Medical Center are finding ways to work together, exemplified by our first IRMC at IUP Day in April. These efforts will advance our understanding of how to keep communities, especially rural communities, healthy. It's a natural move for a university and a hospital system, and you can look forward to more exciting news about IUP's growth in this area. I've shared a lot with you this morning that shows some of the work we have done that will impact many areas of IUP life. We're building ahead for our future, one I believe will be bright and prosperous. IUP is facing challenges that will test our resolve, but I see what we have already done, and I know more good things are to come. I hope that you take inspiration from this work and apply it to yours. Make every day count. Don't be afraid to go out on a limb. Remember, that's where the fruit is. We are in a time of unprecedented change in higher education, unlike anything any of us have seen in our careers. Now is the time to be bold, setting aside cynicism and avoiding apathy. I am excited by the great things many of you are doing to transform IUP. We need, I need, Pennsylvania needs, our country needs, and our future students need all of you at the table engaged, participating, rowing together to propel us into the future at flank speed. 2 times a year, I get to do something that reinforces why I am confident about the direction we are headed. It comes at commencement, when I have the privilege of shaking hands with the graduates as they walk across the stage at the KCAC. I see the look of joy on their faces. They are confident and ready to tackle the world's problems, and it's because you prepared them to do it. We have always done good work here, regardless of the challenges of the day, and we will continue to. Our mission is timeless. Our reputation of expertly preparing our students hasn't come by accident. It's very much intentional. And that's why I am not cynical. That's why I am engaged with all my heart, my mind, and my energy. That, and knowing that you are the best people for the work, is why I am hopeful and inspired. That's my choice. Will it be yours? Thank you.
Thank you, President Driscoll. Next to the podium, I am very glad to welcome Dr. Dennis Furkatich, President of the IUP Association of the Pennsylvania State College and University Faculties, and faculty member in the Employment Relations and Health Services Administration Department.
Thank you, Provost Lukons. As the Provost stated, I am Dennis Furkatich, and I am President of ABSCOF. I am also a faculty member with the best department at IUP, Employment Relations and Health Services Administration Department. The one thing that she forgot to mention is that I also work for the best and most wonderful chair within the state system. Boy, did you just ever have one of those mornings? But this morning, I just had one of those crazy mornings, and I just have to share this. This wasn't part of my speech, but kind of how my day is going. I woke up and started to get ready. I lost my wedding ring, but I'm still happily married. And I went to try on a dress shirt, and it was like I must have ate too many s'mores this year, because it was almost like I would be the Hulk and rip it. Then I thought, well, I'll just put a jacket on over a polo shirt. And I forgot that all my jackets were in storage. So you got what you got. Writing speeches is not where I really shine, but here we go. In all seriousness, I want to welcome you all and thank you for the opportunity to speak during this event. It is another start of a new school year, and I am sure you are looking forward to all the rewarding experiences to come. As a faculty member, I am excited to see students starting to arrive for a new school year. This is a time when we prepare to share our knowledge and experiences to prepare them for the future, their future endeavors. Many of our institutions within the state system are feeling the pain of reductions, integration, and decline in enrollment. These factors have impacted many individuals within these institutions and have brought morale to its lowest point. Many IUP members, including faculty, have experienced disturbing and destructive times these past couple of years. I think all would admit that IUP has felt its share of pain and disappointment. My biggest concern is that we, as a system or an institution, may not be able to fulfill our obligation in providing students with opportunities for an outstanding education and the college experience all students hope for. This task can be difficult to accomplish as resources decrease and workloads requirements increase. In other words, do more with less with the same outcome. This scenario would be difficult for any organization. But today I have to commend our faculty. They have stepped up and have proven that they are willing to do all they can to overcome the obstacle and provide the experience as promised by the PASHE mission statement. The mission of the system is as relevant today as it was in its founding, to provide high-quality education at the lowest possible cost to students, to increase educational attainment in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, to prepare students as the undergraduate and graduate levels for professional and personal success in their lives, and to contribute to the economic, social, and cultural development of Pennsylvania's communities, the Commonwealth, and the nation. This could be an impossible task as resources continue to shrink. I wished I would have known you were going to say we were going to get more. I reflect on my days at IUP as a doctoral student. Yes, I am a graduate of IUP, and I am proud to say I received a quality education and have built many relationships that will last forever. My professors, some sitting here today, and I thought there'd be more of them here, but Dr. Piper is the only one. So they were dedicated and concerned for their students' welfare. I know that many of them did whatever it took to see me succeed. Today, many faculty members are challenged to keep an optimistic attitude due to these difficult times. So let's talk about student-centeredness. Student-centeredness, a key motivator for me personally, to help overcome these challenges. What is student-centeredness? I guess I've been asking that question for some time, have not really got a clear answer. If I could define it, student-centeredness is part of the DNA of an educator, that all we do is linked with the success of our students. This includes preparing students at the undergraduate and graduate levels for professional and personal success in their lives, and to contribute to the economic, social, and development of all communities. Again, I commend IUP faculty for their commitment to student-centeredness and fulfilling the mission of an educator as defined by me, and I think the PASHE mission statement. I believe we have the brightest minds and the most talented faculty here at IUP. I am sure many institutions would think the same thing. Faculty members are the face of our universities. I remind you all, administrators, faculty, and many staff members have their positions today because they received a quality education where faculty members shared their expertise and experience and embraced a similar mission as stated earlier. I am sure that many of you could tell a story that would highlight special moments when a professor touched your life. I have several. Too many probably to list today, but I can remember when I was going through each level of my education that a faculty member encouraged me to move to higher levels and to be encouraged to obtain all that I can. According to many scholars, there is a formula for success as an organization. I have had the opportunity within my discipline to study, to research many of these different strategies. I would include labor relations expert or specialist John W. Budd. His textbook is utilized within many HR and labor relation programs. His premise is that in order to have balance within an organization, one should strive for three specific factors: efficiency, voice, and equity. In place of teaching you a lesson on this very concept, which would take an entire semester, I am going to use an example and a personal experience of this concept. I have been in several positions of leadership where I utilize this very concept. As an electrician and a maintenance person who also was somewhat of a mechanic, I was charged with making sure that all equipment ran efficiently, and produced at the highest level possible. How did I accomplish this? I could say I maintained all the machinery, and because of my expertise and ability, I was able to make all machines work efficiently. But that is not true. It was because I would listen to the operators. You know, those people worked on the floor and operated those machines daily. They knew them inside and out. Even though I had the expertise of the electrical and mechanical apparatuses of those machines, they knew exactly how they run. They knew the insides and outs. I was successful because I listened to my operators. Because I include them in the process and tapped into their expertise and knowledge, I was able to accomplish the task and reach a high efficiency rate. which correlates with profit. I have been given accolades in the past for my leadership skills and accomplishments, but I have always said I could not have done it without the contributions of the entire community within any organization I led. My employees appreciated my willingness to include them in the process and to give them due recognition. This is how I achieved efficiency and balance. Therefore, shared governance is crucial to the success of any institution. I mean real shared governance, not just lip service or checking a box. In other words, it is beneficial to tap into resources so easily obtainable and available. I have never understood why higher learning institutions go outside and spend numerous amounts of monies for consulting companies when they have the needed resources right in front of them. Again, we have the brightest minds and most talented faculty here at IUP. President Driscoll, Provost Lukons, and all college deans. I challenge you today to embrace this concept and consider how we as faculty could provide knowledge and expertise to help with the success of IUP. Faculty are an asset, not an obstacle or barrier to creating an efficient higher education institution. This supports and linked with the PASHE mission and student-centeredness. I have been told many times over the years to pick your battles, pick the hills you wish to die on. I have a different philosophy. All battles are important and worth fighting. I hope we are able to work together to build a community that will ensure a bright and productive future for IUP. Thank you.
Now, let's welcome Aaron Fritz Wood, President of the State College and University Professional Association and Assistant Director of Financial Aid.
Now I can see everybody. Good morning, President Driscoll, cabinet members, members of the IUP community. It is so nice to be here with all of you. It is nice to see everybody. Very nice. The past few years have been challenging in many ways, but this new beginning is a welcome opportunity to look forward to all that can be achieved. Seeing you all here today in person gives me great hope for all of the good things to come as we commence on this new academic year. To better adapt to the changes in the higher education landscape, the IUP strategic plan wisely aims to help our community refocus on our students. Our SCUPA members provide critical resources and fill in many gaps that create the entire student experience and support the ultimate success of our students through the classroom and beyond. As president of the IUP SCUPA bargaining unit, a veteran of 22 years working in financial aid, a two-time alumna having earned both a bachelor's degree as a first-generation college student and a master's degree in student affairs and higher education, and a current student in the Employee and Labor Relations Master's Program. That was not rehearsed nor planned. I am proud to encompass the roles of the multiple IUP stakeholders. My time at IUP has shaped me into the professional that I am today. I am thrilled to be paying it forward by helping this next generation of IUP students proudly working hard to earn their IUP degrees. That includes both of my sons. With this multifaceted IUP-centered perspective, I am excited to highlight some of the ways that IUP's professional employees are supporting and serving students in this new academic year. In the Enrollment Management Division, members recruit and enroll students, counsel them on pre-approval of coursework, and help them transfer in credits earned. While others in this area assist students and their families with understanding and financing their education and working to make sure students can persist through all the financial hurdles. Throughout student affairs, SUAs help shape the student experience by organizing and supporting extracurricular activities, offering leadership opportunities, DEI initiatives, and ensuring student wellness. Our staff in housing and dining are trusted by parents to offer a safe and inviting living environment that sustains our students for optimal success. Colleagues in the administration and finance division help students manage their accounts and get the most out of our facilities and services. MARCOM teammates ensure that the student experience is captured and preserved in photographs and multimedia. And in university advancement, SCUPA members coordinate events that celebrate students and alumni and help ensure the legacy of the university. Finally, our members in academic affairs support student academic success in a variety of ways. From coordinating experiential education to providing career planning and working directly with students to find their path to student success. As the University College works through restructuring with the needs of students in mind, our folks in this unit have been working particularly hard to make sure each student is getting the individual support that they need. SCUPA is thrilled to be collaborating with the Provost's office about what student success looks like at IUP for today and the future. SCUPA members are active in many ways throughout each division at IUP, most having significant student interaction. Just like with the changes in progress in the University College, we are excited and passionate to serve students and to share our professional expertise to solve problems and to create solutions. As we embark on a new academic year, it is more important than ever that we strengthen the communication and collaboration between all of us to create the IUP that students deserve and the IUP we hope to give them. Thank you.
Thank you, Erin. Next, we have Abby Hancox from Albion, Pennsylvania, a political science major with a pre-law concentration and minor in Homeland Security in the Cook Honors College, Student Government Association president, and member of Pennsylvania State System Board of Governors. I want to grow up to be Abby. Yep. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Luca-Hans. Good morning, IUP community. It is a true honor to be here today to celebrate the beginning of another year here at IUP. As Dr. Luca-Hans said, my name is Abby Hancox, and I'm a sophomore political science major and a student in the Cook Honors College. I'm also the president of the IUP Student Government Association and a student member on the PASHE Board of Governors. I am here today to reflect on my experience at IUP so far as I look forward to even greater times to come. But first, I want to start from the very beginning. Education has always been an important part of my life. I grew up the daughter of a faculty member at another PASHE institution and had the pleasure of calling a college campus my second home. From the time I was young, I viewed my education as a top priority in my life, and I was always focused on the idea of one day going to college. In fact, one day, when I was about 7 years old, I was helping my mother in the kitchen when she cut her finger on a knife. I then proceeded to scream, "Mommy, if you die from that cut, will I still be able to go to college?" Now, let me be clear that I am just a little more sensitive these days, And that would not be my first question if my mother were injured, although my mom still reminds me of that incident to this day. Now fast forward 11 years. I am a senior in high school during the COVID-19 pandemic, and it's time for my dream of going to college to come true. It was always assumed that I would attend the university that my mother taught at, but something in my heart compelled me to not accept the expected and to instead explore my options. However, what I did accept is that I would be attending a PASSHE school, because who would want to pass up on a quality and affordable education? So I Googled the list of PASSHE schools and came upon Indiana University of Pennsylvania. It was the perfect distance from home and reminded me so much of the college town that I grew up in. When I first visited IUP, I fell in love with the campus and surrounding town and knew that I could stop searching because I had found my new home. As I stand here today, I can't help but feel this overwhelming sense of gratitude to you, the IUP community, for shaping the experience that I, along with my fellow students, have had here at IUP. Because of the support I have received from faculty, staff, and administrators, I had the opportunity to present at an academic conference with the Honors College, become SGA president, and even represent IUP and all PASSHE students on the PASSHE Board of Governors. That happened because you care about the experiences and opportunities that we students have on this campus and beyond. My fellow students and I are grateful for our experiences so far at IUP, but we also know that even more exciting opportunities are on the horizon. For us students, we can look forward to our education becoming even more affordable, because this fall will be the first semester that most undergraduate students will see an almost 20% decrease in their tuition, thanks to the hard work of those involved with advancing IUP's tuition and affordability plan. Furthermore, all stakeholders in our institution will benefit from the historic increase in funding from the state of Pennsylvania. This year's state budget includes a $552.5 million investment in the PASSHE system. The portion of this money that we receive here at IUP will support and further initiatives from which students will benefit. This investment will also give us the resources that faculty, staff, administrators, and other stakeholders will need to provide the best possible experience for those at the center of it all, the students. Just know that we are grateful for the work that everyone here puts into supporting us, our future, our education, and our growth as individuals. Our future is bright here at IUP, and I can't wait to see what this year holds for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Abby. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. David Piper, the chair of the University Senate and professor and chairperson in the best department at IUP, Employment Relations and Health Services Administration.
Thank you, Provost Luca Hans. Good morning, IUP. It's the middle of August, and we are already starting the 2022-2023 academic year. As your Senate chair, I just have one question. Why? I mean, how many of you would like to have an extra week of summer vacation? Please raise your hand if you would like. Okay, thank you. Anyone like to make a motion to extend summer break for one more week? Do I have a motion on the floor? Do I have a second? All right, is there any debate on the motion? Oh, wait a minute, I'm getting a text. Hold on a second. Oh, this is from our parliamentarian of the Senate. Apparently, I'm not allowed to ask for a motion at this meeting. Well, that's a stupid rule. Oh, wait a minute, there's a second text from Dr. Bickley. I hope you like the color of pink. I'm filling a slip out for you with that color now. Okay, maybe I should start over. Can we hit rewind? That's. I didn't bring that much money, all right? So let's start over. Good morning, IUP. So great to be back for the start of the 2022-2023 academic year. I must say I'm really happy to teach and to be the Senate Chair of this university. We have so many great people, like our student trustee, Maura King. What a great ambassador for IUP she is. Thank you very much. And Dr. Driscoll, an amazing example of a university president. Thank you. And Provost Luca Hans, some fresh blood coming into the provost office. All right. You want me to go further? I just want you to know that these are the steps that we in the Labor Relations Department use to get our ESF funding increased every year. Okay. As your Senate Chair, I do get to remind you that the University Senate is your one-stop shop for shared governance here at IUP. With the university announcing that we are back to a face-to-face presence for this academic year, the Senate will start the year by meeting again at the auditorium of Eberly College of Business. Now, it's been a long time, so for those of you unsure where the Eberly College of Business is, it's between the KCAC and the Fieldhouse. But at the first meeting, we will begin discussions on the best way the Senate should meet in the future. As I begin my 21st year as faculty member at IUP, I will say I could have used the extra week of summer break. I got an email 10 days ago from looking for the title of my remarks from the folks at University Events. Quite frankly, I wasn't ready to write my speech. I had no idea what I wanted to say. Denise Jennings was tasked with getting my remarks as soon as possible, and she asked me for at least the title of my address. Apparently, I make some folks a little nervous when I speak at this event. I just thought it was Provost Moreland, but apparently there are others. It is my understanding that for insurance purposes only, my remarks are vetted by a top-notch squadron of individuals that verify my activities here will not start a fire or damage any equipment at Fisher Auditorium. The thought of creating a title first for the speech seemed a great way to break my writer's block, so I decided to give it a try. I also wanted to have a little bit of fun with Denise because we were former classmates at the great Homer Center High School. So the first title I sent her was this: All the Things You Really Want to Say at Your Exit Interview. Now, I don't know how many people were voting on whether the titles were going to be approved, but I was informed this one received 0 votes. Second title I sent: If These Walls Could Talk, Here's What They Might Say. Again, 0 votes. I did better with the third one. The third one was what I would like to say in Klingon that I can't say in English. That one got 1 vote. My final submission was the winner. 36 years at IUP. What a transition. Now let me explain a little. I started in IUP as a student back in 1980. I spent 15 of the next 20 years as a student in some capacity at this university. A while back, I told my granddaughter, Elena, that I was a student at IUP for 15 years. She looked at me a bit funny and said, "It took you that long to graduate? I thought you were smart." I am now in my 21st year of teaching in IUP, which rounds out my 36 years at this institution. My time here has been full of transitions, from an undergraduate student to a graduate student and then alumni. In 2003, I landed as a faculty member in the department that is most responsible for positively changing my professional work life, the Employment and Labor Relations Department. This past March, I celebrated the 20th anniversary of my 40th birthday. When I hit that age, I started thinking first about my life after IUP. For fun, I downloaded a retirement calculator app on my phone and set a potential date that I'd like to retire. Now I get daily quotes from this app that try to convince me that life on the other side of work may not be so bad. One particular quote caught my attention. R.C. Sharif said, "When a man retires and time is no longer a matter of urgent importance, his colleagues generally present him with a watch." How interesting. Celebrating the 20th anniversary of my 40th birthday has caused me to reflect on my time inhabiting this planet. Life to me is like driving through Pennsylvania during the summer. The roads are always under construction. 2-lane highways become single-lane roads. Orange caution cones line the highway mostly on the side of the road you're supposed to drive on. And there seem to be people on the roads in blaze orange vests holding up stop signs every 15 miles, requiring you to transition into a different lane than the one you were originally traveling. It occurred to me that this same transition has happened to me during my tenure here at IUP. During my early college days, I belonged to a few student groups that would seek financial contributions from students in the Oak Grove whose jeans looked like this. Those funds would then be used to provide clothing for fellow students whose jeans looked like this. Now, years later, when you walk through the Oak Grove, you will see these students in ripped jeans raising money for those less fortunate. How did this happen? When did this happen? It's a transition. When I started my faculty career back in the January of 2003, I must admit I was a bit intimidated and nervous. When I was a student in the Industrial and Labor Relations Department, I can remember marveling at Professor Don McPherson, who would stand in the middle of the classroom without notes and mesmerize me with his lecture for 2.5 hours. I had no idea if I could lecture for 2.5 hours during a given evening class. During my third semester teaching, I was teaching on a topic of change theory, which is the subject of my dissertation, and I was passionately teaching these human resource students about the importance of leadership during times of change and how transformational leaders work to motivate employees by communicating visions, encouraging employees to provide solutions to the organizational challenges. I glanced at my watch and realized I'd gone 9 minutes over class time. I continued to press on to make certain my topical point was made before I dismissed class. Joy, a student in my class, raised her hand when I was taking a breath, and I excitedly called upon her for her point of view. Joy stated, "Dr. Piper, I just wanted to let you know I stopped learning 9 minutes ago." I realized I had conquered my fear of not being able to fill 2.5 hours of a lecture on a given night, but I also discovered I needed to do some work on the mesmerizing aspects of my lectures. It's a transition. Politics started dominating our landscape as a society and even on this campus. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just another transition. Some of us have leanings to the left, some of us have leanings to the right, some of us are middle-of-the-road people. We are who we are, and that's what makes this country great. I have been more observant of this trend on campus. I am starting to see the use of literal right-left labels all across this campus. This photo was taken at graduation. I don't know if you can see it, but it labels that podium left. Here's another one. It labels that podium right, okay? Now, the most important thing is that we're getting extremely specific at times because look at this podium, extreme left, okay? It's a transition. The pandemic hits in 2019, our instructional landscape is completely turned upside down. The one constant which most universities thrive on, the face-to-face interaction between students, faculty, and staff, is lost. During my 33 previous years at IUP, I could always count on that one standard, that students would physically be in the class and a faculty member would be there with them. Over the last 2.5 years, that constant has changed. We now work differently here at IUP. It's a transition. Enrollment starts declining, revenue streams start to shrink. To combat these issues, the state system of higher education begins a massive transition. A transition like none other. One that has never really been contemplated since the creation of our system, the closing and or merging of university campuses. For IUP, It didn't happen. We were not part of the merger plan. On the day we finally knew our institution would remain as a standalone university, I came across a YouTube video of the Charlie Daniels Band playing "The Devil Went Down to Georgia." I listened to the song and I thought, man, with some lyric changes, I could probably make that into a song. Actually wrote this last summer, and it took me about 35 minutes to write it. I thought about using it in my speech last year, but I had some reservations. First of all, I was not yet old enough to qualify for retiree health care. Should the university and the system not appreciate my sense of humor? Well, this March, I hit that magic age, and now I'm fully qualified not only for retirement, but for retiree health care. I also decided a few of my colleagues across campus to join in, because as a professor of labor relations, I know that when you have two or more workers talking or singing together about a work-related issue, it's a protected, concerted activity. The bonus last week occurred when our student trustee emailed me and asked if she could participate in any musical endeavor I might plan. So now, this is a faculty-student creative teaching initiative. Nonetheless, I also sent the lyrics off to the university event folks for approval. And so we are about to present to you for the first time ever, "The Chancellor Came Down from Pashy," okay? Now the lyrics are gonna be up on the screen, feel free to join in, but I'd like to just remind you, there are a few lyrics in the song that we did change, because I don't want that pink slip. So I'm asking you to sing those as well. I'd like to introduce our band here for you. So you have Dr. Joe Bonnick here is one of our lead vocalists. Dr. Craig Dennison's also here. Student trustee Mara King. IUP student Lily Crone. The sound group, Dave Satarski and the group's gonna be back there also filling in on vocals. My student Abby Higgins is on PowerPoint. And I want to introduce to you a young man that has come to our rescue. This is John Harper, our violin player, our fiddle player. Can you give these guys a hand? Let me tell you what happened, okay? We've been planning this about in July, and I sought some help finding a fiddle player, actually with university events. We found one. We're rehearsing this song since about July. On Tuesday night, he sends me a text and says, "I have a high fever, body aches, and a sore throat." Does anybody want to take a guess what that might mean? I wasn't sure what he was meaning, but I said, "Well, that's okay, you're still coming, right?" And he didn't come, and we searched the world over, and right here in Indiana, we found John, who had 2 days to learn this. And so I just want him to know how appreciative I am for his efforts. Okay. So if this goes bad, it's that fiddle player. No, kidding. That other fiddle, but not this guy. He did a great job. All right. So here we go. Are you ready? Count it down, Joe. The chance came down from Pashy. He was looking for a school to steal. He was in a bind. Enrollment was way behind. He was willing to make a deal. When he came across this young hot song on a fiddle and playing it hot, and the chancellor jumped up on an oak grove stump, said, "Bird, let me tell you what. I bet you didn't know it, but I'm a fiddle player too. And if you care to take a dare, I'll make a bet with you. Now you play a pretty good fiddle, Bird, but give the chancellor's due. I bet a fiddle of gold against your school, 'cause I think I'm better than you."
The bird said, "My name is Norm, and it might be a sin, but I'll take your bet you're gonna regret. IUP's the best there's ever been."
Norm, you rosin up your bow and play your fiddle hard, 'cause hell's broke loose in Pashy and the chancellor views it hard. And if you win, you'll get a shiny fiddle made of gold. But if you lose, Penn West gets your school.
finished, Norm said, well, that's not me.
The Chancellor opened up his case and he said, I'll start this show. And fire flew from his fingertips as he rosined up his bow. And he pulled the bow across the strings and it made an evil hiss. Then the Board of Governors joined in and it sounded something like this.
When the Chancellor finished, Norm said, well, you're pretty good, old son. But sit down in that chair right there and let me show you how it's done.
Fire on the mountain, hawks fly away. Come on! The Chancellor's in the house is barking away. The legislature's finally giving us dough. A tuition increase, no child, no.
The Chancellor bowed his head because he knew that he'd been beat. He laid that golden fiddle on the ground at Norm's feet. Norm said, Chancellor, just come on back if you ever want to try again. I done told you once, you Quaker from Penn, we're the best there's ever been. And he played!
Fire on the mountain, hawks fly away. The Chancellor's in office on Barton Way. The legislature's finally giving us dough. A tuition increase, no child, no.
Obviously, we want to give a shout out to the Charlie's Daniel Band for providing the song and some inspiration. And I do have a shout out to Dr. Matt Balmer, who kind of helped me out with the lyrics there. So Matt, I see you in the back. Thank you very much. There's more to this story of this song that I want us to know. It's a good learning moment here. Charlie Daniels Band wrote The Devil Came Down to Georgia in 1979. A sequel song, The Devil Came Back to Georgia, was written and performed in 1993. Now, to be clear, just in case the Chancellor or any more member of the Board of Governors is listening, under no circumstances do I liken the Chancellor, the Board of Governors, and the actions they have taken as synonymous to the devil in his band of demons. Rather, this song was played here today as a metaphor for where we at IUP must be aware of as we navigate our new transition. We can't continue to lose students. NextGen was commissioned as an effort to create a stronger, more centered, student-centered university. This is another transition at IUP. I don't know if we are still calling it NextGen or if the term is no longer in use. What I do know is that we have to become a more stronger, centered, student-centered university if we are going to survive. If we don't provide programs that attract students to this campus, then there likely will be a sequel to The Chancellor Came Down from Poshy. In the sequel, The Devil Came Back to Georgia, Johnny defended his crown and kept his golden fiddle. The future of IUP and Norm is still in the balance. We need to win this transition we are now in, and we need to start winning it now. Let's all help Norm defend his title. This is a big task, but one IUP can and must accomplish. This year marks the 100th anniversary of the IUP Marching Band, also known as the Legend. At the end of each band camp and the end of each game, the band comes together and plays the tune Amazing Grace. This has been a 40-plus year tradition and is the signature piece most requested by the Legend. The tune's lyrics state, through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace hath brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead us home. The arrangement of the song was done by Chris McDonald and introduced as a piece played by the IUP Marching Band by Dr. Cassavant back in the late 1970s. A documentary of this powerful piece is currently being created by Mary Megna, a 1984 graduate and member of the band. Miss Megna describes the impact of this song and its playing has provided many with a sense of empowerment throughout their lives and a reference for what is possible. There is no better way I can think of to help us start this academic year and to navigate this challenge than to listen our students play this song. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you the IUP Marching Band as they play Amazing Grace. May I also introduce you our new IUP Marching Band Director, Zach Cheever.
The IUP Marching Band.
There's no better way to start an academic year than listening to that. I want to thank you all. Have a great academic year, and fly, Hawks, fly.
Well, I promised myself this year I wouldn't get choked up, but it happened anyway. So what a way to launch the year. Thank you to all of our speakers and performers. Unless there are any more surprises, I think that's a wrap for our morning's event. I do hope you'll take time to join us in the Oak Grove between 11:30 and 1:30 for lunch. This concludes our program. Thank you.